Let's now take a look at the service shape. This will not take long. Why not? Because you will see that it's very easy to draw a straight line between the element shapes, service shapes, because they're largely configured in the same way. So let's say I take my Visio file from earlier on my IRD. But I will go to the Visio itself because it's easier than just downloading and uploading it again. I select all of the shapes on there, copy them, and I go to my IRD service, set as active Visio file, a new blank file, select all and delete. Then I will paste all of these shapes that I had on my elements on this Visio. So while these shapes were configured for an element, you will immediately see that they also work on my service. So how do they work exactly? First off, we have the shape that we defined with element equals IRD01. This still links to that element. So if I click this, it will go to IRD1, just like it did for the view. This is the same thing because we defined the key in there. But this one then links to our service. So how does that happen? Right here we have a shape with element shape data set to discard object ID. So in this case, it will no longer refer to element IRD01, but rather it will refer to where the Visio is located, being IRD service. So it will actually enter this key instead. So that's why this links to the service. Same goes for all of these next shapes as well. Even just a property without defining an element will refer to the service, but also with the defined service. Right here, we have a special case, namely that here we defined our parameter as being parameter 176. And although this parameter does not exist because it is a service, the element shape or the service shape is still shown and it still links to that service. The same cannot be said for these parameter controls, as you cannot visualize a parameter control without an actually valid parameter. So everything that kind of makes sense and gets linked through a placeholder like discard object ID will still work when you put the shape on a service instead. One more thing that I want to show you that is specific for a service is that you can actually use wildcards in here to create your element shapes. So I have two elements in here, or part of an element, namely backup and main. If I go to my Visio and I create an element shape, well, let's just replace this one. And I say it has to start with M and then anything else. So this is a wildcard for our element shape. You can see here, it actually links to IRD01 as well. Why is that? Because this element, main, is actually a partially included element in the service. So IRD01 is partially included in this service. As we can see here, we gave it an alias, but it's actually IRD01. So if we create an element shape for that, that's what it will link to. So you can use both aliases and wildcards to link to shapes within a service Visio as well. Next up, I want to refer after the element in the service shape. We want to go to the view shape. And again, there is not much to be said about this as it's very straightforward. I can copy over this shape, go to my view, Visio file, paste it here. And now I do have to change this shape data because this is not an element or a service, and I have to enter view as shape data, save it. And if I need to save it again, go to my view, and then we can see this links to the view Visio training. And to make this clear, we can add the info shape data again and set it to name, similar to how we did it for an element. And of course, don't forget the asterisk in the shape, so it can be replaced.